Well, I was born an itty bitty baby. I went on right, but I died a little early. Now I got zombie eyes. Now the only way for me to die is a hole in the head or get burned alive now.
Hello and welcome to the VHS Vault, where old is new and cringe is king. I am Owen Brand.
And I'm Katie Cadaver.
And 3, 2, 1.
My baby left me, and I'm so blue. My heart is aching, my brain is goo. I get drunk and wander from dawn till dawn. I am just a redneck zombie since you're gone. Well, I can't think.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, Owen.
How are you?
Pretty good.
We got a dog barking in the backyard.
I hear that.
It's not even my dog.
That's some redneck type shit, so I think it's okay.
For sure. Well, this is our first one, right? Our first podcast on this this new journey we're on.
The maiden voyage.
For sure. So this podcast is called the VHS Vault, and this dog is about to be in the vault once I kill him and put him down
You
there.
can punch him in the dick.
Can punch that dog in the dick. Sorry. Yeah, we're not going to be super proper about it, but we are going to get going here. So what we're kind of doing is we want to watch movies together and sort of share that experience with you guys. Maybe movies that you might not have heard of before, or maybe movies that you would not otherwise have had the opportunity to see. Just sort of dig around in the vault, as we say, and find some goodies to bring out and share. And what do you think about that?
I'm in, because I like weird fucking movies that I've never seen before. So
Absolutely. So what we are kind of going to do today is we're going to talk about a movie that we played the intro for here just a second ago, that music. It's a movie that I've loved for a really long time, and it's a movie that you...
just kind of saw all the way through for the first time, having spent many an hour at the Troma table at conventions. It's been playing, it's been around. I just never took the time to sit down and watch it. So.
Yeah. And, you know, I have those kind of movies too. Like I recently just watched Fright Night for the first time, and you couldn't believe that I hadn't seen that. And that's a much worse sin than not seeing Redneck Zombies. But this movie's been
Fair.
important to me since the 90s. When I first saw it, I saw it on a bootleg VHS tape in my buddy's house in high school. And it was a trip, and it kind of sent me down a weird path for a while.
Troma films will do that.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you have seen more Troma films than I have, but I have seen possibly some that you may not have seen.
Probably.
So this is one. Redneck Zombies is the one we're doing today. And so I think that the appropriate way to get this going is let's talk about the history of this movie a little bit for each of us. So you've known about this movie for a long time. You've seen it in the booths as they're playing it, but you never watched it all the way through.
Correct.
Okay. And so for me, I saw it for the first time, as I said, in high school, and then I've watched it probably 20 times over the course of the last 2 decades. So I am very familiar with this
20,
movie.
that's it?
Yeah.
I pay you more for like 120.
Well, I've started it probably 120 times.
Fair.
But I have this thing where I watch horror movies late at night on my combo VHS TV I have in my room, and that's a really comfortable spot to be with that warm VHS tube
It's like
feel.
1987.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
so nice.
Absolutely. And I didn't get DVD till much, much later than most people. So I had VHS for the majority of my childhood. And that's what we're looking at right now. I'm sitting here looking at my giant wall of VHS tapes over here. There's so many for us to choose from. And what I think we're talking about doing here is like this week I made the suggestion that we do Redneck Zombies because it's one that I loved and I knew that she needed to see it. And then, you know, for next week we may look at a different movie. We may look at something that she recommends or something like that, something we haven't seen together at all. We'll just kind of find different ways to look at different kinds of movies because there's lots. There's so many movies out there. We'll never see them all.
Basically, the two of us are just trying to watch movies together in some way, shape, or form and bring it here.
Yeah. So Redneck Zombies. Let's just do a quick recap. So the movie starts out with a guy driving down the road. It's a guy in army fatigues in an open-top Jeep. And he is carrying a large yellow drum.
He's very irresponsible for an army guy. Just putting that out there. He's not real, I don't know. He's a little lackadaisical.
No, he definitely is. And he reminds you of, some of those guys you see in those Vietnam movies, where they just got to the point where they didn't care anymore. But anyway, he's driving this Jeep transporting this big barrel of toxic nuclear waste from one dump site to another dump site. And that's where this movie starts out. And that's where it kind of takes us.
So now, before we get too far into this, I'm just thinking about how much this parallels Return of the Living Dead with the toxic waste. And I'm wondering, is that that's, I guess, an era-specific kind of zombie way that they get created, right? These filmmakers were not consulting each other. So is that just luck?
It's interesting. If you go back through the history of film, like in the 50s and 60s, all of the movies with giant blobs and Godzilla and these giant ants in the movie Them, they all were created through nuclear testing. So back then, all of this stuff was very era specific on nuclear testing because it was so brand new. And then we started to learn about the toxicity of the byproduct of nuclear power when the issue happened over in Ukraine.
Well, then in that case, it makes sense to me. Because I think a lot of the newer zombie stuff, actually, let's go back to older zombie stuff like George Romero, Night of the Living Dead. We don't even know how they become zombies, right? That's never approached in that film.
Yeah, they said it was, what did they say? It was some sort of a sickness? Is that...
Or something, right? I don't know. And I don't believe in Dawn of the Dead we find out that answer either. But it is just all of a sudden people are infected. So
some sort of virus that was going around. And
Yeah.
while the virus was active, no matter how you died, you would come back as a zombie. So they were telling everybody to stay inside because they didn't want anybody to... And then later they changed their mind and told everybody to go to the shelters. But yeah, I mean, that's an interesting point.
This film is definitely more creative and takes some liberties about making zombies with moonshine and whatnot. So, sorry to totally derail your synopsis. Please continue.
No, not at all. It's perfect. It's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. Of course, this came out, just after Street Trash and Jason Takes Manhattan, where you had that real sleaze look to everything, So it kind of works out. This was all done on VHS. This was shot on video, SOV, a big old Panasonic camcorder, something like that. But
and it shows.
Yeah, for sure. No, if you haven't watched this yet, you need to figure out a way to do it. There are ways to watch it on streaming services and things along those lines. So you can find the movie if you really want to. So as he's
Troma
driving,
Now. This is the plug. This is where, as a Tromette, I plug Troma Now. It's the future now. First month is free, and then it's $5 a month after that. Troma Now streaming service. There's a Roku app. Get on it.
Do you have access to all their films?
Pretty much.
Wow.
Yeah.
How much a month?
$5.
I mean, that's certainly worth it.
Yeah, it is. Totally. There's also a ton of them on YouTube, but Troma Now, so we can get paid, so that people like me, us lowly Tromettes, can maybe walk away from the table at the end of a busy weekend with a couple of movies.
Man,
help me feed my movie addiction, please.
Yeah, for sure. Just be glad you don't collect old horror VHS tapes, because that's a very expensive hobby I have.
Yeah, I've noticed.
A very expensive hobby I have. And I'm taking a break right now because I think I have enough to watch that I don't need to continue looking for more expensive shit to buy.
He's a disciplined man.
No, I'm not.
I know.
I'm not disciplined. I'm just out of money. And so, all right. So, dude's driving down the road in army fatigues with this barrel of waste, and it falls off his Jeep and rolls down a embankment down into a small field, a little gully. Now he's in the middle of redneck town, right? We don't really know where this is, but it is somewhere in the South.
I believe it's Bumblefuck.
Bumblefuck, Alabama. And of course it could be in the Appalachians too, because there's some moonshining going on in this, so we don't exactly know where it is, but anyway.
There's a lot of stills.
Yeah, a lot of stills. And that's kind of where this movie is about to take us. So he goes down to retrieve the barrel and runs into my favorite character in the movie.
What's his name?
Ferg.
Ferg.
Yeah. He is a wacko. Ferg is he's this big redneck dude with overalls, and he is obviously playing an exaggerated, hyperbolic version of a deep South,
It's
country
pretty
redneck.
hyperbolic. You're correct.
It for sure is, and that's part of the charm, right? I mean, it takes it to the extreme. And me being from the South, I don't take offense to that because I think it's hilarious. So
you heard it here, folks. It's all of that's okay because Owen said. Thank you.
I said it's fine.
Good. So I'm going to continue to use redneck. No offense to anyone.
No, for sure. Use it up. So we get to the point where he's down there and Ferd runs into him and he's trying to get his barrel back, and Ferd says, "Get off my land." It's a pretty hilarious scene. I could play a clip for it here in a minute.
Oh yeah, I remember it. Get off my soil.
Get off my soil.
Yeah, he's really taken ownership of that colonized land he's got there.
Absolutely. So it's really a funny scene, and it sets the tone for the movie because it's happened so early on, and you start to realize immediately that even though you sort of guessed that this wasn't going to be a super serious movie, at this point you realize that this is satire and
oh, they're not taking themselves seriously at all.
And that's part of what I love about this movie. So anyway, it progresses to where he shoots his shotgun up in the air, and the dude, the army guy, runs off and gets back in his Jeep and takes off. And as Ferd is getting ready to take this barrel, these guys walk up. They're in a rival moonshining outfit. Okay,
that's a great way to describe that.
Yeah. So Ferd has a moonshining outfit with his family, and there's this other family who have a moonshine outfit as well, and this family is quite colorful.
Yeah, well, I wish you had the clip queued up because this would be a perfect opportunity to play the clip because it's pretty ridiculous.
Which clip are you talking about?
Where he talks about how he accidentally, his gun went off 3 or 4 times and he shot up there still on accident. So he owes them. That's why he's got to give over this barrel.
Yeah, so we're going to play that clip right now, okay? We're just going to start at this one spot and we'll just kind of see where it goes. We can talk through it. Okay, here we go.
Jed, Junior, Jethro, Billy Bob.
Ellie Mae to you, coon shit.
Ellie Mae.
Okay, so before we go on, this is when he's looking down at the barrel and all these guys are looking at him. They come down. He just recognizes that they're there, okay? And then you see the family there, and one of them's name is Ellie Mae.
Billy Bob, but he goes by Ellie Mae now since they got that satellite TV.
Yeah, he's got that. He's got the satellite TV, and he decided he wants to be Ellie Mae. And it's just he's got this button-up shirt that he's got tied in a knot with.
It's crop top now.
Oh,
his belly's out.
So funny.
It's cute.
It is so funny. So we're gonna play this clip here. So we'll start at the beginning right there.
It's a good time to mention that Ellie Mae is the director of this film, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. That's right. So, look, I've watched this movie a ton of times, but I really haven't done much research on it other than being a part of the Facebook group. So this is a shout out to the Facebook group. There is a Facebook group dedicated to this movie. I do suggest that if you're interested, you can hook it up there and you can actually meet some of the people that are in the
That's
movie.
not where we met, though.
No. But yes, for sure. So this is the scene. He's standing there. Ferd is this big giant dude with a big. I mean, he's just got a huge personality.
He's a big boy.
Big boy, big country boy. He's got a big red hat on. Big overalls. It just, classic. And he's standing next to this yellow barrel that says "Danger Radioactive" on it. And here's where the other guys show up.
Billy Bob.
Ellie Mae to you, coon shit.
Right.
What do you do to our still?
Still? I didn't shoot your still. Anyways, it was an accident. You see, I was walking up the road and I dropped my gun and it went off 3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times, see?
You know it promised all the swill they could drink down in the valley before you got into town, and you shot up our still. So now I think we're gonna have to use your
It's a street
still to
battle
deliver.
for turf.
Oh, it's turf war for sure.
You want to use my still? My still ain't no good. You said so 1,000 times yourself. 30 minutes, you still ain't no good. Tell you what, look what I got for you here. Brand new steel.
Okay.
One of them European jobs.
All right.
He's
Now,
making good.
yeah. So, do you want to describe what's getting ready to happen here, and maybe take the synopsis to the next level here for us?
Do I? Oh, that would be assuming that I remember it in detail.
Okay.
I remember all I remember after this. Wait, it might not even be at this part. Doesn't Ellie Mae pick up the barrel? Doesn't it burst open? Is that here? Or do they take it with them? See, I
Yeah,
don't
it's
know.
coming. No, you're absolutely
Okay.
right. So here's what happens. He convinces these guys that this barrel of radioactive waste is indeed a still and not a barrel of
It says,
radioactive
do not
waste.
open till Christmas.
Right, because he's sitting there looking at it and he's like, do not open till he can't read, right? So anyway,
He's a redneck.
yeah, because rednecks can't read, right? Rednecks just can't read. And so he convinces them that it's a still, so they take it and he gets away because they had guns pointed at him. So he gave them the barrel, told them it was a still. Then they take it back to their camp, and while they're at their camp, this is one storyline. There's several storylines that intertwine here, but this is one of them. While they're back at their camp, they drop the barrel and it pops open, and the radioactive waste spills out into their mash, which is cooking in open air. Okay, so if you don't know anything about moonshining or whiskey making, you have a mash that you create before.
Yes, tell us.
Well, I mean, you start with the mash. That's the thing, and it's usually barley.
And this is the monster mash, right?
Yeah, it's got to be mostly corn if it's going to be bourbon. It has to be at least 51% corn, and then it's got to be aged in a charred oak barrel.
Have you done this before?
I used to live in Kentucky for a long, long time. I know more about whiskey, and I was a bartender, so
You just have to know if you're down in Kentucky. You just have to know this.
you have to because
Okay.
because look, half of the tourist stuff down there is going to different distilleries and checking out the distilleries. The other half is caves. Yeah, Mammoth Cave is pretty awesome. Cave City is amazing. Guntown Mountain is up there. Dinosaur. There's a dinosaur place there. That's
Visit
pretty
Kentucky,
wild.
folks, where you can do things like drink bourbon and go to the caves.
Absolutely. That's what you want to do when you're in Kentucky for sure. But I forgot where I was. Yeah. So anyway, they take it, they spill it into the mash, and they decide to make the moonshine out of that mash anyway.
Can I interrupt you with a little piece of trivia?
Yes, please.
I heard that in that scene, he drops the barrel on his head and actually gave himself a concussion in real life doing that.
No kidding.
That's what I heard.
Man, that's interesting. Real blood was spilled during the making of this
I don't know
movie.
if there was any blood involved, but a concussion was had, which is possibly more serious than a gash on the head. So the head just bleeds a lot.
So going back to this family, there is a really crazy scene, and this becomes important later, but this family with Ellie Mae and the other ones, I can't remember all their names off the top of my head, but
Oh, I have a whole list of names here.
well, let's hear the names of that family.
Junior and Jethro and Ellie Mae and Jed. That's the dad and the kids.
Yeah, that's
Then there's Lisa, Tyrone, Bob, Wilbur, Andy, Sally, Teresa. They're the campers. And Hoss is the fucking cool dog that's hanging out with the dude in the Jeep,
Yeah, we haven't
smoking
even-
weed
We
with
haven't
him
even
and
got
stuff.
to the camper storyline yet.
Yeah, we sure haven't.
But that's okay because this is important. We're just taking you down a path here. So this is one of the storylines that's playing out, and as this storyline is playing out, we have a secondary storyline, which is really the main storyline, but it's not introduced first. So there's a group of campers, and these campers are in this area. They just happen to be in this area trying to find a place to camp. And who's the older guy?
Is he Wilbur? I don't know. He is like the leader.
Andy, I think.
The pot to piss in. He's so worried about that.
Yeah, a pond. He wants to piss in that pond. He was saying pond to piss in.
Oh, a pond? I thought he said a pot.
No, it was pond because that's when they were so excited about getting up there and peeing in that pond, and that's when they had the pond. And then there was that funny scene where Bob was pissing in the pond. He's just standing there on the edge, and he's like, this water's cold and it's deep too.
Oh yes, that's right.
That's so funny. Anyway, so these campers are there and they're trying to find a place to camp, and the older guy thinks he knows this area, and they're trying to find a place to camp, and there's this guy Bob, and Bob is hilarious. Bob he starts off sort of minor in the beginning, and then like as his character develops, which is hilarious to say in this movie, but as his character develops, he becomes more and more colorful, I guess we should say, because we get to a point where they have to do a zombie autopsy at some point, and we're getting there.
We're jumping way ahead.
We are, but I'm trying to figure out how to tie these two stories in together because they're incongruent at the beginning.
Well, because the moonshine starts turning people into zombies,
Right.
and then the campers stumble on the zombies.
So, yeah. I'm just trying to remember what they were doing during this whole section. Anyway.
Well, they set up camp eventually. They found their campsite.
That's
and, one of the girls like wanders off at first, Sally or something, right? She like wanders off, and she's the first one that
Yeah.
I think it's Jethro or one of those guys finds her and bites
Yep.
her fucking scalp off.
Yeah, okay. That's yes. So after they pour accidentally the stuff into the mash, they make the whiskey, and then they distill it, and then they jar it up in these jars, and it comes out like beautiful, perfect, like plutonium green, like uranium glass. The whole thing is that green.
That's the most beautiful description for that.
Do you like the description of the whiskey?
You're very passionate about
Oh
that.
man, let me tell you something. I am passionate about whiskey. So, anyway, yes. So they decide to distribute it, and so they send Ellie Mae to go distribute all of the whiskey jars to the people in the town and make their money. Right?
Okay, that's like one of my favorite parts. The baby in the wash machine. Can I just interject that when he delivers to the mom and the baby, and she puts it in the baby's bottle, and the baby's just like in the wash machine, just chilling.
Yeah, man.
Another piece of trivia for you. Apparently, that's the director's child.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm trying to. Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. So here's the scene. He's doing this delivery. All right, here's the scene. There's a cat on the roof.
Hi, Miss Ashley.
Land sakes, Ellie Mae, I expected you to be here last night.
Well, we're a little bit behind, and we got a new recipe, and it's green.
I guess that means I get a discount.
Oh, I don't know about no discount, cause we built a new still.
Well,
I'm digging this
all right,
moonshine
good
delivery
time.
service they got
For
going
sure.
on.
If
For
you're gonna
sure.
be late like
They
this
got the
again
whole
next time,
community
I'll
on
go
lock.
buying from Ferd Merch.
Oh, you don't want to buy from him. Besides, you really like this.
Okay, here are Ellie Mae.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
So that's another intro into the rivalry. So if we don't like this green whiskey, we're going to buy from Ferd Mertz, and he's like, you don't want to buy from him. So the battle of the turf continues amongst the moonshiners of Creepy Hollow.
How accurate is this to real life down south?
We'll discuss that later.
Okay.
Bye. Faster, faster, honey. Look, your bath can wait. Look what's here.
Your bath can wait. Baby's in the wash machine. I love it.
Oh man. Yeah. Okay. So she walks over with the jar of alcohol, and she's like, "I'm gonna play this again. This is so funny." And there's a baby sitting in the washing machine.
You don't want to buy from him. Besides, you really like this.
Okay, here are Ellie
This is
Mae.
so funny.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Faster, faster, honey. Look, your bath can wait. Look what's here.
Is the kid saying Fester?
Look what we got.
I think it's Fester.
Wow.
She poured it in his bottle.
Here, honey.
She pours the whiskey in his bottle and gives it to. Holy sh!
Drop down the hatch.
And he's like, she barely left any for herself. Baby is not digging it too much.
Oh man, that's brutal.
Tastes like shit.
This. Right. Okay. So man. There's so many little tiny scenes like that make this movie cool for me.
Well, that's what I liked about it, because there was a lot of little things I could pick out that were fun for me without necessarily having to pay that close of attention to the overall plot.
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of what it does. It just takes you on a journey. I think a lot of Troma movies do that.
Oh, yeah, and we totally didn't start this by giving a spoiler warning, but
Oh, well, I can go back and add it. I'll add it in.
add it in post.
Spoiler warning. Nope.
Yeah, yeah, do your voice acting. Come on.
Yeah. Listen here now.
No, we're not trying to get people to have sex with us. We're just trying to tell him that we're gonna spoil the movie for
I
them.
can put some bass guitar on it. Boom, boom, boom.
We might have to take a pause.
Okay, so during all this chaos and craziness, the father of these kids who are crazy and making this whiskey sends them to go get them tobacco.
Oh yeah, Tobacco Man.
All right, so listen up. This is messed up here. So
we need you to know about this.
So you need to listen. Whatever you're doing, stop it and take a listen real carefully, because this is some heavy duty stuff here. So they start to hear this bell ringing, this weird sounding bell. All right. And they immediately recognize that as the Tobacco Man. So like we would recognize the little jingle and notice it's the ice cream man.
The elote man.
Yeah. So they're in that spot where it's a Tobacco Man. So they're like, oh, they get all excited and jump up and down. Daddy, can we go get to see the Tobacco Man? So they go and this is another one of those really long scenes that it has some foreshadowing stuff.
It's a thing of nightmares.
But it's a thing of nightmares. And if you could see this, you would understand it. It may not sound super freaky, but man, let me tell you something. When I was a teenager sitting up at night, maybe not quite in my right mind or all there, you know what I'm saying? Watching this movie on tape, I was like,
on acid.
I didn't say that. We're not even to the acid part of the movie yet.
Sorry.
So we're going to play this little clip here from the Tobacco Man. He comes in at 23:07. The Tobacco Man's pretty wild stuff here.
He's scary as fuck. And then he's like, you remember those commercials about not to do drugs? He's like the scariest version of one of those ever.
Daddy!
Better taste good because you splattered it all over the corn squeezins, you otter ass.
Otter ass.
Okay, that's it. We'll start there. This is right before the Tobacco Man scene. So this is when they spill the stuff into the mash. So we'll just play that scene real quick because it's really good. They've just spilled it into the mash.
Well, looks like fertilizer. Smells like iodine with a piss of bleach in it.
Maybe it's all of them, Daddy.
Well, whatever it is, it better taste good because you splattered it all over the corn squeezins, you otter ass.
Yeah, otter
I'm sorry, Daddy.
That's my new nickname for you.
Hell yeah.
Daddy, it's the Tobacco Man. Give us some money, Daddy.
What even is that? It sounds like a
Before we leave.
spring. What even is that?
Yeah.
It's scary. This
Let's hear
whole
it.
thing.
Hold your pants on, boys. You ain't going nowhere. Yeah. Here's your money. And I want you to go ahead and get some
How much are
tobacco
they
from
getting?
a pop.
A nickel?
Looks like you probably gave him about $1.
It was all coins. What do you
Yeah.
guys got down south?
Just coins. We don't really
Susan
have
B.
paper
Anthony's or what?
money. We don't have paper money.
Okay.
We still use Confederate coins.
Oh, gross. Making it hail. Got it.
Hi, Mr. Tobacco Man. Hi, Mr. Tobacco Man.
Okay, so this is some Larry Curly and Moe shit right here, but they run up to the Tobacco Man's truck and it's real slapstick. They run into each other and act. It's obviously campy for the sake of being campy, but we're about to meet the Tobacco Man here, and let me just describe him for you real quick. He's this creepy looking ominous figure in a truck with this. What's he wearing on his head?
A sack with a hole in it?
It looks like there's like old dried blood all over the sack
Yeah,
and
it's scary.
tobacco
It's
shavings.
Yeah, it's like gross.
It
His
is.
eye is all nasty and gross under the sack.
Yeah, it's gross. So we're gonna. Oh man, I forgot about that part. Yeah, you can see his nasty skin.
Yeah, it's
Around
like
his
showing
eye.
through.
Yeah, it's showing. Oh, it's so gross. All right, let's just hit play here. Here's the running up to the truck.
Hi, Mr. Tobacco Man.
Looks like he's hitting a bell.
Mr. Tobacco Man. Mr. Tobacco Man.
I've been waiting for you, boy. I've been waiting.
Pillowcase with a hat on top of it. That's what he's
That's his
wearing.
pillowcase with a hat on top.
Oh, it's tied at the bottom like a
I
sack.
got dip for the gum and snuff for the nose. I got roll your owns and smokes and a newfangled machine that rolls them for you. You even got pellets. They taste like licorice. Don't have to spit them out. Just let it dissolve.
God, that's so gross.
Ew, there's his gross eyeball and
Okay.
nasty skin around his eye.
So we need to have a quick talk about the practical effects here. Okay, so this was a very low budget movie, extremely low budget movie. Do you remember what the budget was? I saw it. Was it 20,000 or something like that.
I thought it was
Maybe
more
even-
than that. But hold on, let me.
Anyway, this is a very low budget movie, right? And
It was in here somewhere.
I gotta say, though it was a shot on video, low budget zombie movie made in the campiest of ways for the cheapest of budgets, I really liked the practical effects in this movie. I thought
10,000 estimated budget.
$10,000. Yeah.
So that ain't shit.
No, they didn't. I mean, that's enough to pay for a camera and some food and
So that's some good spirit gum work there. Like, it looks gross. I'm convinced. I don't
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah, and that's I got to say, doing this podcast is important for me because there's so many movies that people put their heart and soul into that had just really, really creatively done practical effects, but because they didn't have the flash and the money behind it, there are people that thought that it was bad practical effects, and they just didn't realize the creativity that went into it. So I'm really hoping to show some of that stuff, and this is one of those examples right here. That looks creepy as shit.
Oh, for sure. And, the fact that there's a sack on his head, right? Really, all they have to do is that one little eye cut out, and you assume the rest of what's under there is even worse than what is shining through that hole, which in reality is absolutely nothing. They just had to do the makeup on that part.
Right.
But adding the fake blood, it's like you pretty much can imagine that it's like pussing and gross and open wounds underneath the sack.
Maybe like a burn victim with
That's
acid
kind of
victim.
what it looks like. Like his whole face got burned, or maybe he's so cautioning against all this dip and shit because it ate his face. I don't know, but it's gross. It looks cancerous. It's trouble.
I hadn't thought about that. That's an interesting.
Yeah, we could take a deep dive on the Tobacco Man. I mean,
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. He's probably my favorite. My favorite character in the Troma movies that I've seen. I've seen Romeo and Juliet, which I loved. I've seen, Rabid Grannies. I've seen Decapitated. I've seen a bunch of. I've seen the Toxies, and I think the Tobacco Man for me is probably one of the more ironically complex characters I've seen in a Troma movie.
I'll buy that.
And maybe it's just my perception, but the way they did it, maybe it was just ambiguous enough to let your mind kind of take it wherever it was going to go.
Well, and that's it. And it's a budget-friendly design, but it works.
Yep.
So I can see how all of that is awesome.
Yep. So let's continue.
Dip, we want dip and thank for daddy's pipe.
So they're all getting dip, and they're getting some tobacco for their dad's pipe. So who plays the Tobacco Man? Do you remember?
Oh.
You had a piece of trivia on
Yeah,
there,
I
think.
did, and I didn't write it down, but it's the same as another character. Shit, I'll never find it.
No, it's all good.
Daddy's pipe.
So now we're going to get a PSA, right?
In the scariest way.
So they're putting the dip in their mouths, and they're all happy, and it's an upward angle into the sky, and it's just really, really cheesy as hell and hilarious. Tobacco Man gets back in his truck as the boys run away. Well, they haven't run away
Thank
yet.
you. We love our dip. We love our dip. Yeah, we do.
Run along now, boys.
Oh, it's who plays Jed. Same guy.
Dip.
Let's see if we can hear this.
Our times are coming.
Dark times are coming.
You'll like my dip for a long time. You'll be loving it just for the rest of your lives. And someday, you'll want to stop, but you won't be able to. It comes
Oh,
and
addiction
starts
is a monster.
Addiction is a monster.
Now wear down and show the bottoms of your teeth. Then your teeth will fall out. You'll cry.
I'm scared.
But you won't stop.
It's slowly panning into his creepy face.
Back in and dip in. Your mouth will start hurting, start burning. It'll grow, it'll get out of shape. And you'll go to one of them big city doctors and they'll cut half your face off.
I think he's telling us what happened to him right here.
Yeah.
Shit.
And they run away.
But in your death, you'll still be in your mouths laughing.
What a scene, man.
I need an adult. I'm scared.
You know, this is just me because I'm a musician. For those of you who don't know me, and
Yeah, we haven't told them anything about us at all, but
we will.
continue.
We absolutely will. So I'm a musician, and when I listen to that scene, it's interesting to me because when you hear what's being said in the scenery, it's very ominous, but they're playing a very happy major triad on the keyboard in the background. If you listen to the music, it's playing a very happy sounding major triad instead of the minor, which would be a much more appropriate sound, which is what you hear in most horror movies, where you hear that menacing sound that just sounds dark. A lot of times that's a minor key arranged, but if you listen here, I'll go back we'll play it for 2 seconds and you can hear it, but it's a major triad. It sounds like a happy chord that's being played on the keys during this crazy scene where he's talking crazy shit.
Start burning. It'll glue. It'll get out of shape. And you'll go to one of them big city doctors and they'll cut half your face off. And when it'll happen, it'll kill you sore as shit.
It's a major chord. So it's a nice contrast for, those of you who maybe don't know about major and minor chords. If you're not musicians, that's totally cool, but you know what they are because you've heard them. You feel them. When you hear a minor chord, you feel it. You know what it is. It's that sad feeling. And you would expect that on this, but it's not there. So it's
almost airy and light and dreamy.
Yeah, it's almost and that's what makes it even creepier.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
Which I thought was an interesting choice,
I agree.
So once this liquid gets distributed to all the people, they drink it and all become redneck zombies.
Yes, they're tobacco chewing, gut chomping, cannibal kinfolk from hell.
Oh man, I was gonna bring over the. I was going to bring over the VHS sleeve. Hang on, let me go get that because I want to look at that while we're talking here. Hang on 1 second.
We're going to take a sponsor break. We don't have any sponsors. So this podcast is just brought to you by us and only us. And we're back.
Yes, we are back.
VHS cover. Awesome.
So I brought the tape over, and I love this tape. It is a original.
It's well loved.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's an original Transworld tape.
What's all the stickers?
So this was a Blockbuster video rental.
Oh, nice.
And the last time it was updated in the system was June 11th of 2001.
Wow.
And then they ended up selling it for $19.96 to whoever bought it. But you want to see something crazy? Look at the original price of this tape.
$80? Why?
Because that's how much tapes cost back then.
For real?
Yeah, girl. When you wanted to, because you're putting media, you're owning like it's part of it's different than it is now.
Wow.
You know how things have changed with DVDs and stuff and even streaming now, but back then there was never a home medium. You either had to watch the television or go watch a movie.
Then how was I getting like Mr. Mom from McDonald's in the 80s? What was that all about? Remember that? Free VHS tapes from McDonald's?
Right. And that is how McDonald's could do it because they could mass produce easily. The media itself isn't super expensive.
So like this is still an independent film, so it's got to be a lot of money. Can I look at it?
Absolutely.
Can I hold it in my hands?
Girl, hold that VHS. There's something magic about holding a VHS with an original slipcover and
it's got like some sticker on the top. Must have been for like sorting it or something. Major video, 1977, M21st Street, Wichita. Is this from Kansas?
Probably.
Wow. Well, that's fun.
Yeah, it's an old Blockbuster rental, which I love. I love having the old rental tapes. And you can pull the tape out. Is there anything stickers on there? Please, be kind, please rewind or anything like that?
No, none of that. But
what is there something on the side?
Oh, major video. Warning, if this tape is tampered with, customer must pay for cost of tape. Wow.
So what I'm gathering here is that it was a Blockbuster rental, and then it was purchased maybe like on a large buyout.
Oh, they were always selling old shit at Blockbuster. I remember.
So it was sold to Major Video, which seems like it's a rental store.
I guess so, yeah.
And then the rental store, Major Video, rented it out after they bought the Blockbuster's previous rental. That's interesting. I used to buy stuff. I worked at Hollywood Video back then. I was working at Hollywood Video during that time.
Of course you did.
Girl, it was awesome. I was the guy, I basically worked there for my free rentals.
You were the movie nerd that worked at the video store.
You
I
know
love
it. Don't ask me about, Schindler's List. You will not get out of this conversation for a while. Anyway, so people get ripped apart, people die. There's a couple of really amazing kills that, I appreciated, and I know that you are a big fan of the kills in the movies.
Yeah, well, the kill that you like the best with who was our character, the army dude, that was pretty much my favorite too because of the special effects were pretty dope.
Absolutely. So if you guys don't mind, what I'd like to do is just kind of go over, we'll play a couple clips, and obviously you can't see them, but you'll be able to hear them, of a couple of my favorite kills. The first one is an early on kill. It's after the onset of the people walking around like zombies, and it's at 43 minutes and 45 seconds. And it's a kill where we'll just see if we can get to that point.
Is that the first kill? Are we 43 minutes in before anybody dies?
No, there's a few kills before this
okay.
too. Okay. So there's a group of hikers, and this is not the same group of campers, I don't think, or maybe they are. I don't remember. Yeah. So they walk into the still. They find the still with all the green jars sitting next to it because the people that made it drank it and died and left all the rest of the jars.
Yeah,
there.
that's Sally. She's the first one to die,
Sally.
right?
Zombie.
And that's Ferd, right?
No, that's not
no.
Ferd.
Oh no, that's one of the sons.
Yeah, it's one of the boys.
Junior or Jethro, I don't know which one.
So he picks her up, and this is actually a really great practical effect. It pans up to the geese flying overhead, and then the zombie actually picks her up, and then he starts tearing the top of her head off.
Yep, just gets his fingers right up underneath that.
He scalps her. Yeah, just scalps her,
and he's eating it like beef jerky.
That's a good practical.
That is a good effect. I wonder. It kind of looked like a fruit roll-up, like sheet. I don't know what they used there. Probably latex.
And then back up to the birds in the sky. Man, this is You
got to fill in the details there, which is good filmmaking on a budget.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. Then this scene's really brutal here. The one that comes right after that, where he's eating her, just ripping stuff out. Look at that.
Yeah, like what's he digging for? Because that looks like good zombie eating
that's
right
food,
there.
man.
He's tossing it aside. He's really violent.
He's just a violent one. Kind of like in 28 Days Later.
Yeah, real gross. Well,
Look at
now
that.
he's going to town. See, and I think I saw a chicken wing in there. I made you pause it.
No,
once.
yeah, you said that. You said you saw a chicken wing in there. Okay, this if you're watching this on YouTube, it's the 45:05. If you're watching it where you should be on the Troma app, I don't know what the time stamp would be on that, but he's eating. It looks like a bunch of like just chewed up meat and stuff. And then Katie swears there's a chicken wing there, but I can't see it. But we're gonna watch this again because I'm gonna try. If we need to slow it down to half speed, we can.
Maybe
do that.
I'm just.
No, you might be
imagining
legit.
things.
I don't know.
Yeah, we can slow it down to like half time, right?
We could.
Really annoy our listeners.
I don't know if they really want to hear that.
I mean, he's just shoving stuff in his face. All kinds of
And-
bloody. I think. Was that it?
I don't know. Anyway, that's a really great kill. Well, in the meantime, Ferd gets his hands on some of that sweet juice.
And he stumbles upon the aftermath of this,
Yes.
and makes a really poor comment.
He does. He does a very poor comment indeed. And he ends up drinking the souse and turns into another zombie. And he becomes his makeup is really interesting. And this is one that I wanted to talk to you about because maybe you know what they're going for here. But to me, this was the only part of the practical effects that I thought just threw me off just a hair and didn't allow me to stay in that same groove. But it's Ferd's makeup when he's doing this next kill we're going to talk about.
Well, and I have in my notes here that the makeup was done in a cheesy way on purpose.
Okay.
So perhaps it's supposed to be satire.
Okay, perfect.
But
so
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. So there is a really interesting part here where there is the one subtitled portion of this whole movie
Yeah, that's awesome.
is when the army guy
You gotta
standing on.
make sure you know what he is saying.
You have to know, so we're gonna play that. I'm gonna play that real quick.
You kids, run! Who the hell is that? Get out of here! There's a bodacious herd of redneck zombies back there, and they're coming this way.
You want to go back over that and read that subtitle?
There's a bodacious herd of redneck zombies back there, and they're coming this way. Let's hear what he actually sounds like, though, when he says it. There's a bodacious herd of redneck zombies.
Kids, run!
Let's
Who
hear
the
what
hell is that? Get out of here! There's a bodacious herd of redneck zombies back there, and they're coming this way.
And they subtitle it because they know it didn't.
Shoot.
You couldn't
Like,
understand
let's not
it.
record the audio again. Let's not shoot this scene again. We'll just put a subtitle. It'll be fine.
Perfect.
Hey, look, there's no hard feelings, but we gotta get out of here.
Okay, so this is the scene where the army guy goes down and he sees Ferd. And Ferd was the guy that took the barrel from him initially. So he runs down here after being chased by these redneck zombies and sees Ferd, doesn't realize, but Ferd has his head down. He's about to find out that Ferd has become a zombie. And his face makeup here is absolutely wild looking. There's so much good about it, and then there's some stuff that throws me off a little bit. But we'll hit play.
Yeah, the blood out of the mouth is good.
Yeah, that's good.
He's very green.
Yeah, so here he's digging through this guy's eyeballs, rips him out. Oh, God.
Eyeballs get me every time. I mean, this might as well be a Lucio Fulci movie. With the eyeballs.
Oh, he's just ripping him apart.
Yeah, that was gross. That's a good kill. Picks up an eyeball and takes a bite.
Oh, it's so good. So, I don't know if
He totally shit himself. Look at that.
he did shit himself. That
That's
was
a
a
lot.
question we had. So look at the bottom of Ferd's face
Yeah,
as he turns, and you'll see like his whole mask
Shit's
jiggling.
Hanging off.
Like his mask is jiggling there. Kind of see it a little there.
Uh-huh.
Right there. And it's just like, I don't know. It's still good. I still like it.
I mean, it's a lot. It's probably like a lot of latex or you know
Yeah.
that
Oh,
shit
for sure.
peels off, and I can't imagine in the 80s what kind of, what was available.
They had $0 and they did such a good job.
Yeah,
Such a good job.
It works. It works.
Okay, so this movie takes several twists and turns here. Lots of people get killed. Most of the campers die. And then Lisa, who is kind of the main character, but maybe not.
Are we skipping over the autopsy?
We don't have to skip over that. I think that would be a good thing to talk about. Thank you for mentioning that. There is a super dope scene. You want to set it up? Because I think it's cool. I think it's really cool.
See, this is the part I'm not good at, is remembering the details. But I just know that our friend Bob, apparently he's pre-vet. They say he's pre-med, but he's pre-vet. So he has some little bit of knowledge about medical stuff, just a little bit. They just want him to do an autopsy on this dead zombie and figure it out, what's going on. But he's been tripping on acid all day. So when they get to this point, he has to let them know that he's been tripping on acid, and they want him to do this autopsy. So we get a tripping on acid zombie autopsy that is really pretty pointless. He figures out that a certain kind of deodorant will dry the zombies out, but it doesn't save them or help in any way. So, we're kind of just jerking off at this point in the film, which is okay, for the sake of what it is. But should we play the clip?
Yeah, no, for sure. And like she said, man, you won't get this in context, but honestly, this part was probably like essential to the original plot because they figured out that aluminum chloride, or I think that's what it was, aluminum chloride in one of these deodorants would melt the zombies, and they never come back to this ever again.
We need to probably watch the DVD that has like all the deleted scenes and special features on it. It might answer some questions for us around this scene.
It might. It might. I've seen two releases. I've seen the one I have on tape, and then I have seen the one that's on YouTube.
Apparently there's like 14 minutes worth of deleted scenes.
Wow, that's a
in
lot.
the special features. So We'll have to table that and check that out sometime.
For sure. Okay, so they decide they kill the zombie and they take it into this cave, and that's where we come to. And they're going to ask Bob, who is obviously not doing well right
Bob
now.
is fucked up.
His hair is all going crazy.
It gets straighter as he trips harder and harder.
He's struggling. And they ask him to, because he's pre-vet, they ask him to do an autopsy.
Just pretend it's a big cat.
Oh my God. And they don't know at this point that he's on acid. They don't know that yet. They get in the cave, and then this is where we are right now. This is probably, you're never going to get the next several minutes of your life back.
So bad. Come on, Toto. Attaboy. Come on. Attaboy. Hill. Walkie.
And that's
He
Bob
is talking to an invisible dog.
freaking out, talking to an invisible dog.
Shit. I got it. No!
What was that?
It's a hurricane lamp.
Well, go ahead and light it.
Bob is really overacting
Yeah,
as well.
Obviously way
Woof.
overacting. And that's hilarious.
He's
It's
done
just-
nothing else, and
It's
I can see
Troma.
why.
It's Troma.
Shiny. Well, we've got light.
Very good, Bob.
Okay, now what?
Bob, do an autopsy on this thing.
Just do an autopsy.
Just do the autopsy, bruh.
What?
Hey, bruh.
No way.
Hey, come on, man. You're pre-med.
I'm pre-vet.
What's the difference?
I do autopsies on cats, man.
Well, think of it as a big cat.
All right, heck with it. I'll tell you. Remember that little bitty piece of acid I was saving?
Remember that little acid I was saving?
Yeah? What about it?
Well, I woke up.
There's that
and
same
I
music
said
again.
to myself, Bob,
And now it starts,
Bob,
his
I said to
eyes
myself,
start
Bob,
freaking out.
That's me.
Starts
Bob.
glitching.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. And you
I would have
think
slapped
that-
Bob by this point already if I was there.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just do this.
Christ! I was gonna trip a little bit.
So the psychedelics here are pretty interesting.
I was gonna trip over the birds and the trees
Well,
and the flowers and
so
the insects. and the
we've
sky
talked about
and
this,
the
but,
universe. Oh, that's
you know,
the one
how
that-
accurate is it to a real
Are
trip?
you out of your mind? This is no time.
Well, we're going to watch it and see.
This shit would happen.
Not that we either of us would know, but we'll be able to see
Right.
what we think might be.
Right, because, you know, we wouldn't say anything to incriminate ourselves.
He's just flipping out. Okay, now we start seeing all the colors are changing, and
I have no idea how to do this on video, being shot on video cassette, but, like, good on the director and cinematographer.
yeah, like super cheesy effects, but they make sense.
works.
They works for this.
A lot of rainbow colors.
Yeah, tracers, lots of cool stuff. Part of this looks like that screensaver you'd had when you were a kid, where it just played with the music.
Wake up! Now slice him open.
Yeah, this is some psychedelic craziness. They're gonna slice open this zombie.
I don't have any instruments.
Or they give him a kitchen knife.
I can't even tell. Looks like a butcher knife of some sort, yeah.
He's holding this knife and it's tracing.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's like a Rambo knife.
Oh, like a field knife.
Yeah, that's a big giant ass John Rambo knife.
Yeah, all of this is a bad idea, but it works out, I guess, in the end.
Stop fucking around.
So he takes this giant Rambo knife and he jabs it down into the zombie.
Which it's not real clear. I guess they put this effect on it so that whatever he's doing doesn't have to look real clear.
Yeah, when they do the POV from his perspective, it looks all freaked out.
Yeah, we can't quite make out. It's just a figure and he's cutting into it. You can't make it out. There's no detail. It's blurry.
Anyway, this thing goes on and on and on here, and he ends up cutting off this dude's hands, this zombie's hands. What's that? Oh, is that the shoe one?
Yeah, he's pulling out organs and he's seeing it as something else than what it is.
Where did those come from? What do you suppose?
Like a liver or something.
Some
Yeah.
poor Appalachian man, I think, is going around, wandering around the mountains without a shoe.
Okay, I didn't notice that before. That's interesting. Did you see that before?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I never saw that before.
Oh.
So when it shows the POV, when Bob's looking down at this piece of liver he's holding, he sees like a Nike Jordan or a Converse or something like
got
that.
a shoe.
It's weird. I never really made that connection. I knew that he was talking about it being a shoe. I knew he was tripping, but I never actually made that out before where it's actual shoe.
And then he's got like when we're seeing it from the other perspective, he's got something in it, something bloody organ in his hand.
Is going around, wandering around the mountains without a shoe. Can you believe he's going around without a shoe? What? Now what's this? What's this? Help? Now, how do you suppose this got in the colon? I can't
He's just
imagine.
pulling out random
You
shit
know,
at
I
this
do
point.
think it might.
Tripping.
Now this. I like this.
Was that a doll?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh, now this. This I'm gonna keep.
Puts it in his pocket.
Oh,
ready
God.
to go.
What else do we have in here? I think I'm gonna climb.
This is a very long scene.
They were stroking a lot of time, a lot
Yeah.
of run time with that.
And then it goes to this cutaway. Now he's got the hands back. So this is where he tries to figure out how to kill the zombies.
Designate types A and B.
This plot point that never gets
Now
used
what I'm
again.
going to do is spray zombie hand 1 with deodorant
Or at least
A.
it doesn't help.
Zombie hand 1 with deodorant A, and zombie hand 2 with
As you
deodorant
can see,
B.
the skin becomes wet and sticky. Now I'm going to spray zombie hand 2 with deodorant B. Huh? My. Look at that, huh?
And this is why
Mike,
they
notice
tell us to use aluminum-free
that the
deodorant. That's
tissue
better for
becomes-
you.
Look at this! Look at this fade right here. This is a really interesting effect. He sprays it. It starts melting the hand, and then watch what happens. Watch the fade. It's funny.
Mike, notice that the tissue becomes
Ooh, that was fast.
Wasn't that nice?
and
Yes, very good.
decayed. And
And now it's just bones and green sludge. So yeah, they figured out how to defeat the zombies.
Therefore, it's safe to conclude that the only effective deodorant against zombies is one which contains aluminum chlorohydrate.
Aluminum chlorohydrate
It dries them fast.
Keeps them dry.
keeps them dry.
Why only aluminum chlorohydrate?
How the hell am I supposed to know?
He's not a chemist. He's pre-vet. Jesus.
Not a chemist.
I'm pre-vet, not a chemist.
This is a setup. He's got the end he's passing.
So now they know how to kill the zombies, but they don't.
Yeah. What the fuck?
So anyway, they go back out. They start getting waxed. They get most of them get killed.
There's a kill we need to talk about that is reminiscent of a film that you haven't seen that I don't want to embarrass you about, but
Go ahead, no, drop it like it's hot.
so our camp leader guy, whatever his name is, I forget, his kill is like very reminiscent from Day of the Dead when they, I forget the guy's name, but they pull him apart, choke on him. He's the bad guy in the, you've not seen the movie, so you can't help me, but I don't remember the guy's name. But they do this effect where they basically pull him apart, pull his legs. And I think they probably used the same legs again that they used with the first, when, what's her name? Sally, all that's left is her
Oh,
legs.
yeah,
We
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
talk about that horrible joke. We should maybe never mention it.
No, I wasn't planning on it. But
It's necrophilia.
it's good stuff. So we'll play that scene. There's a scene leading into it here where Lisa's getting jacked up. So yeah, Lisa is getting completely tortured mentally right now, seeing all this crazy stuff happen while she's trying to fend off zombies of her own. She's gonna end up being one of the last ones standing, but she's in a rough spot right now. I'm sure she's very, very messed up in the head at this point. So she's walking out. There's blood everywhere.
I wish I could make out the guts, what they're using.
Yeah. Lots of good guts here, though.
A lot of eating going on.
Yeah, lots of zombies eating a bunch of flesh right here.
Oh no, this is after he's already been killed and then he wakes up and dies again. We missed, I think.
Did we miss the kill?
Maybe. But maybe not. Maybe this is where they pull him apart. I can't remember. You're our plot guy. Yeah. It was bad.
Okay.
Technical difficulties. Stand by.
No, it's all good. It's all good. We'll find it here. So, so everybody dies in an interesting way, and that's good. I like the difference in the different kills.
And what I was getting to is that this movie kind of pays homage to a few different films. Like we get a hitchhiker scene that's very reminiscent from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And that kill was super Day of the Dead. Because I don't know that there's really any other films from that era where zombies tear a guy in half besides Day of the Dead. So they pretty much ripped that off or paid homage to it.
Yeah, they did. They did that a lot. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre one. You said this one on the Day of the Dead. I think we're getting to it close here. So I think this is the scene here. There's only 4 of them left now. And here the zombies come. Oh, this is the Redneck Zombies scene. So it comes right after this. Okay, here they come. They're surrounded now by zombies. Redneck zombies, by the way.
Of course.
Because they live in the South and they have to be redneck.
Tobacco chewing, gut chomping, Cannibal Kinfolk from hell. They're using the deodorant, but it isn't helping. It's not really helping them.
Right. They're spraying the deodorant, but that's not doing anything at all.
Fending them off a little, but they're going to be overrun.
He's having a malfunction on his aerosol can.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't work.
Oh, he kicked that zombie straight in the dick.
Yeah, this is our camp counselor guy. Oh, that's the drinking dude.
Oh, the drunk? Yeah.
He just stands there drinking through the whole movie, doesn't do shit else. Except for now he's got to fight the zombies. Bob's a mess. I don't even know where he's going. Drinking dude is just trying to dodge him. Bob and weave.
I wonder how much of this shit was rehearsed and written out and how much of it was just like, hey, let's just take video of stuff and then we'll write the story around it.
Yeah, right. Or just improv. This is what you need to get to at some point. Just do that.
Because there's no way this was all written out.
I can't imagine.
Oh, they got Lisa. Here comes the main guy. So these zombies, she's fighting him off though.
And he comes in to save her. She's okay.
Oh yeah,
but he gets taken over now.
That's right. This is brutal. Actually, you're right. This is a brutal scene.
And I'm telling you, this is exactly what happens in Day of the Dead, but you haven't seen it. Our listeners have seen it, and they're mad at you.
I will see Day of the Dead.
We'll probably talk about it on this podcast.
I promise you we will.
And when you see the scene that I'm talking about, you're going to be like, oh, fuck yeah.
Okay. So yeah, here they go. They're ripping him apart.
Digging in. Choke on him. But that's not this
The drunk guy's still drinking. Where'd he get the different bottle? He's got a different bottle now.
He's been picking up shit along the way, I guess. It is the South.
Yeah, there's just bottles of liquor
And this
everywhere.
is their only sugar glass bottle of the film, I think. They had one prop they were able to buy, and that was it.
Good Lord. Oh, Lisa's losing it.
Yep, that's the one. And that flip was not scripted.
No. Oh, look at that. Yeah, they ripped his whole body in half.
See?
Whoa, man. Yeah, I
There
remember
goes
that.
them fake legs again. They've been used a lot in this film.
I really like the way they did that. I really like the way they did that.
And it looks good. It looks pretty damn good.
It does look good, doesn't it?
I mean, that's a Tom Savini gag, so we have to applaud the man himself there because they stole that.
So the last thing that I want to talk about on this discussion on the plot is something that I don't know if they've talked about on other podcasts before. I haven't listened to any of them, but there is a scene where Ferd the zombie and Lisa have an interaction of sorts.
Oh yeah.
And there's stuff to talk about here.
It's a rape.
Yeah, it is.
Trigger warning.
Yeah, so
it's a zombie rape.
It's a zombie rape. So Lisa is completely covered in blood, running through the fields, losing her mind, crying her eyes out, inconsolable, right? Oh, I got to get this sound back here. Hang on one second. Yeah, okay, so she's sitting down next to the corn, and here comes Ferd the zombie.
Has she not been through enough? My God.
Right. So you can imagine what's happening here.
He's doing a rape.
There's a zombie that is doing things to her.
I mean, this might be a kink of mine, but we can talk about that later.
We could talk about that later for sure. So anyway, he's like, his whole face is coming apart. He's bleeding all over her. He obviously finishes right there. And then she stabs him in the face and kills him.
Perfect.
But now she's have to pull her pants up. Okay, so she pulls her pants up. Okay, so this has implications because she has now been raped by a zombie, a Ferd. And I want you to hear something real quick. We're going to go all the way to the end of the movie, to 1:32:05. Now, this is the very end of the movie when she is in the mental hospital. And I want you to listen as it's showing her in the mental hospital. So it's showing other people in the mental hospital, too.
That's the drinking dude.
Yeah, drinking
he
dude.
made it there.
Drinking dude made it. But listen.
The zombie baby. We need to remind everyone that there has never been a Redneck Zombies Part 2.
Yet.
There's still time.
So, mental patient. It shows all the credits here, so we'll go ahead and give some credits. The big ones we don't need to talk about. Let's see. Okay, so Lisa DeHaven played Lisa. Billy Bob Ellie Mae was played by Clemson Zoofoot.
No, that's Pericles Lewnes, the director.
I think these are all fake names.
Oh yeah, they used pseudonyms, like really bad pseudonyms. Read those pseudonyms off. What are they?
Okay, Jed. Let's see. Junior Clemson is P. Floyd Piranha. Jethro Clemson, William Livingston Decker. Billy Bob Ellie Mae Clemson, Zoofoot.
Zoofoot.
Tobacco Man. What else does it say here? I can't read the one on the bottom. Anyway.
Oh, we didn't talk about knockers.
Oh, the knockers scene. We could definitely talk about the knockers scene.
That's their version of porn, knockers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So
that was during all of the moonshine deliveries.
Yeah,
all the things they walked in on.
Dude, they walked in on some messed up shit, didn't they?
Yeah, there was that scene with the chick with the duct tape on her mouth having to watch baby chickens get killed. That was horrible.
They were torturing her.
That took a turn. That shit was dark.
Yeah, and he just delivered the whiskey and left.
Yeah, he's like, bye, get that money.
Peace out.
He had to stand around for that money for a second thoe.
There's he did, and it was what, $3 or something like that.
Yeah,
making all these deliveries of this whiskey for $3. But I don't know. So that takes us to the end of the movie, and I am really curious now that we've discussed the movie. I'm curious to hear what types of things you liked. What's the best of the best on this particular movie for you?
For me, the overall ridiculousness of the whole thing, I think, I don't know, Redneck Zombies is a pretty good premise. So I like that it was ridiculous and it didn't take itself seriously, because I don't think it would have worked if it would have taken itself seriously.
Yeah.
And I mean, people would argue that this doesn't work anyway, but It works for me for what I like. So
Indeed, many people would argue that it does not work.
I mean, there was ridiculous shit, but I can appreciate it. If the budget was in fact 10 grand, like they did a hell of a movie on 10 grand.
Yeah, and that's what I think it was. Again, I have made some minor friends with some people who were actually involved with this movie, including the lead actress, Lisa DeHaven. She's a friend of mine on the Redneck Zombies Facebook page, and she's really awesome and willing to talk about the movie and all kinds of stuff. And she's a cancer survivor, I think, and she's doing great. She went to some conventions, I think, at some point and signed some Redneck Zombies merchandise, if I'm not mistaken.
I bet she did.
Yeah, she's pretty awesome. So that's good. Yeah, I liked similar things about it. I think for me, I liked the overall shot on video feel. I've always loved shot on video stuff and low budget stuff, and that's just sort of like a fuzzy warm feeling for me when I see that.
Yeah, I mean, this movie is special to you, so like tap into that. Like, for some reason this movie touches you in that special place.
Yeah, and it's weird because I think this was the first movie that I was ever able to download on a dial-up system, and it took like 18 hours to download.
But you had seen it before that point.
No, this was like 1990.
Oh, so you were just trying to get a movie.
Yeah,
so like, let me try this.
So I had, I had a friend who had the movie on VHS, and we watched it. And then right after watching it, I downloaded it. So the same day after I watched it on VHS with him, I downloaded it. And my dad, I was hoping he wouldn't get online because if you remember, he had dial-up, it blocked the line.
Everything. Even if you were trying to use the phone.
Yeah.
During that.
So we had a separate phone line for our internet, but
you guys were rich like that.
Yeah,
huh?
we were rolling in dough. Let me tell you, I couldn't
hey,
afford
that extra phone line, baby, that was some shit.
I couldn't afford to go buy a tape at the Blockbuster, but anyway, we watched this movie on his tape, and then I downloaded it, and that's one that I had on my hard drive on my computers for years because it's the first one I ever downloaded, and I still have that original download on
Shut up.
I do.
You do not.
On one of my hard drives,
what?
yeah.
How many computers has it been through?
Probably 10.
Holy shit.
I've gone hard drive to hard drive, probably 10 computers with that same file.
I don't even have keepsakes that I've hung on to that long, and you have a dang file.
Oh, it's terrible. It's an MPEG, It's really, really bad quality, but it's mine, and that's the one that I remember having. And I'm just glad my buddy turned me onto it. But
that's a way better story than my story about seeing it for the first time. Well, no, my story's okay.
For sure.
Took me a few tries.
Yeah. So, tell me something about this movie that you didn't like, or maybe something that's the worst of the worst for you.
I struggle to be critical of things that I can see. Like, I can see the effort in this film.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I couldn't have fucking done it, first of all. So I see where the effort is. Like, maybe the autopsy was dragging on for a while. Maybe our Bob actor could have been better. Like, little things like that. But I don't know. Overall, it was, for what it was good. I don't really have a lot of criticism or like things that would have changed. Like, obviously some of the jokes don't age well, but it's whatever. Like, it's an 80s Troma movie. Like,
for sure,
I'm good with it.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. This is one of those movies where you're gonna like this movie or you're not gonna like this movie. And if you like it, you really like it, and if you don't like it, you really don't like it. Some people, this is just not their kind of thing. This is not their cup of tea. They don't get down.
Well, those people aren't even listening to this.
They
Let's
might
be real.
They might be.
I doubt it.
I don't know. We'll see. A lot of people like VHS
Only
tapes.
if I personally ask them, will you please listen to my podcast? You're not going to like this subject matter at all. Just listen to me talk.
People will listen. If you build it, they will come, Katie.
Well, I believe that, but I think it's a certain kind of person that's going to find this to be entertaining.
Yeah.
And, if you like ridiculous movies, if you like old shit, if, the most time you spend watching films are things from, before 1990.
Yeah, no, for sure. So is this movie vault, trash, or treasure for you? Would you recommend this to somebody else? Would you have to know the person you're recommending it to, kind of on the same subject you were just talking about? Is this something that some people wouldn't be into and you wouldn't recommend it to certain people? Or is this just a movie you'd recommend to anybody?
I mean, I feel like any movie could be something that I wouldn't recommend to certain people based on what they like. because everybody likes something different. This isn't like a Forrest Gump where like this will land for anyone. This is definitely not that kind of movie. But most of the people that I talk to movies about are people like you who like this kind of shit. So I would recommend it to people who like the kind of movies that I like. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. And similar for me. I know that if I recommended this to my little sister, she might or might not appreciate it, but I'm pretty sure my big sister would not like this movie, you know? So if I send it to Cassie, she might dig on it. Matter of fact, I may have watched this with her back in the 90s on my old
That's
Macintosh.
like a rite of passage for brother and sister to watch movies together.
We did.
So
We played video games too. And we may or may not have occasionally snuck a bottle of vodka into my giant Lego tub and hid it there from our parents.
this is why I like Steven Seagal movies, because my brother and I used to watch them together.
Oh, Steven Seagal.
He doesn't hold up. He does
Sensei
not hold
Seagal.
up. But I still have a warm spot in my heart for Above the Law and Under Siege and shit. So I get it. When you watch movies with your brother, it's just
So
that's what happens.
if you ever want to just torture yourself for 4 hours, just
I as I often do.
watch
Yeah.
watch the movie called The China Salesman.
Oh boy,
It stars
it's 4 hours.
It's a little over 3 hours, I think.
Jesus.
It stars Steven Seagal,
Okay, well, like
And-
circa when?
Mike Tyson,
Holy shit! What year is this?
like 2016. It's so
Oh,
bad.
God.
Steven
Oh,
Seagal.
God.
Steven Seagal.
He's not even hot at all.
Oh,
He's
dude,
old
he's
and
got the black donut on his face. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Oh, it's terrible. Oh man, it's brutal. His
Cool. Well, the
Dude.
next time I'm feeling like shit and I want to kick myself while I'm down, I will look for that film.
If you watch China Salesman, for whatever reason, I would never recommend anybody ever do that thing that I just said. But if you happen
Except
to,
for me.
if you happen to, we will do a podcast on it.
Oh my god.
And
No one will listen to it.
Nobody will listen to it. It's going to be the best.
I can barely sit through anything that's 3 hours, let alone a bad movie. Oh, I don't know.
So, what's next? What are we going to do next? What kind of other movies you want to talk about?
Well, I have to, since you got to show me one of your favorites, I need to show you one of my favorites.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's going to be the next one or not, but I think we have to talk about Joe D'Amato's Buio Omega,
Yes.
Beyond the Darkness, Buried Alive. It has a lot of titles, but for the sake of brevity, we'll go with Buio Omega. It's the Italian title, and I prefer that.
Absolutely. And
It's a hidden gem that
Yeah.
not a lot of people know about.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to digging into that one. The cinematography in that is beautiful, and I need to spend some time going over that movie and really taking some mental notes on it as we
Well,
watch.
I'd love to watch it together because I have a lot to say about it.
Okay.
And a lot of things to be like, hey, pay attention to this. Look
For
at
sure.
that.
Maybe we'll make that a watch that we do all the way through and paying attention and all that stuff.
Yep. No massages.
So, yes. So I think I'm really good on this movie, and if you guys have any questions or want to know more about it, there will be links somewhere. I'll figure out how to get those to you. Maybe I'll put them in the description if you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this on YouTube, and you can.
You
click there
definitely
and-
aren't watching it because we don't have a camera rolling.
Well, there would be a image, and they would be listening, and that image might change. You know,
I got a lot of images.
I could even splice in like an image or two of Redneck Zombies or something. Like
You could.
technology's crazy.
If you were really talented, I'm not sure if you are, but you could put the clips in that we're watching it. Oh, you did some rewinding and some crazy shit, so I don't know if you
Yeah.
could match that up. But
it'd be tricky.
it would. But if anybody could do it, it would be you.
I will do my best. Yeah, so I'm good. Let's end the podcast the way we started it.
Yeah, but we didn't tell them about us at all.
Well, we can tell them about us in a separate intro.
Okay.
We'll do an intro. You want to do an intro?
All right.
We'll do an intro and we'll post that first.
All right.
Yeah?
Sounds good.
This has been fun.
It has.
It has been real fun.
My heart is aching. My brain is good.
I think I want to sing this song live. What do you
I
think?
get
Would you
drunk
please?
I will sing this
wander
song live.
I would enjoy that a lot.
till dawn.
I don't think my guitar's in tune. I would play it right now.
I am just a
Try me.
redneck zombie since you're gone. Well, I can't think
Oh shit! Here we go.
and I can't feel,
It's happening,
but
folks.
I can drink
full guitar here.
Cuss and squeal. Oh, bitch, without you, my life's doo-doo. I'm a blue dick redneck zombie without you. I groan and cry to the guys by the still. Then
This is
take
fun,
me
man.
by the
This was not planned.
It's been fun. This is the VHS Vault Podcast. Signing out. I'm Owen,
I'm Katie.
and we outski.
Bye.